Hey guys, well fishing cans here. Thanks for stopping by. And today my father and I are going to the mangrove of Can Gio Biosphere in Vietnam. Um, the location is roughly about like an hour and 30 minutes, driving distance from Saigon. I, I don't really get a lot of time to spend with my family. I honestly have not lived with them for almost like 20 years now. And so, I thought it's kind of cool for me to be here, come back to my motherland and just explore and see what it's like for myself, it's this place is just really amazing. Like if you guys take a look at this, like all you see is just a bunch of like mangrove type of trees. Um, it is a straight line going from all the way from the ferry just to the end point of this island. And where I am actually, this is the Monkey Island. Sometimes you could actually spot a monkey just hanging by the tree lines, just looking at like boats and people fishing around. Well, the main reason of this trip is obviously just to scout around, just sightsee and see what's there for me to do and all that. But like we brought some like fishing rods with us, and I just wanted to like show you guys like just how amazing it is to be out on the water. Fishing for things, pretty much. You know, I mean, it's right now it's 6 a.m. in the morning. I do apologize for the sound being a little muffled up, and it's very loud. I do understand that, but it's I don't really have like a good camera to record this with, so just bear with me for a couple minutes here. Now, obviously, I know you guys want to see me like catching fish and all that, but sometimes it's like I always have to tell myself to appreciate this blessing of like just being able to do this for fun and enjoying what life and nature gives us. The idea of this video is mainly just for entertainment purposes. I want to show you guys what it's like to be out here at my motherland in Vietnam, specifically by the Monkey Island fishing and just I don't know, just messing around with nature and see what's out there. I do know that this body of water holds a lot of fish. They are barramundis, mangrove, jags, snapper, grouper. There's a bunch of like brim or porgies, in the U.S. We call them porgies, but I think I met up with a bunch of like Aussies, fishermen guys, and they call them brim. And the location of this place is actually really nice. I actually got it off a well, I found out about this location basically from like a very experienced um, angler here in Vietnam, and he runs a company. It's called Wild Fishing Vietnam. So if you guys ever want to like come check it out, go to Vietnam and do a little bit of like fishing. Um, he has kayaks and speedboats and everything for you to like be fishing on. Man, that Vietnamese iced coffee and just Vietnamese sandwich were good. Nothing beats that in the morning. Here we are at the first location. Pretty much I'm just fishing around these oyster farms. As you can see, there's a lot of like flotation devices just floating on the water. And right underneath these buoys, um, there are tires and crates where they keep the oysters underneath, and the buoys is what actually keeping it afloat. And it's just really, it's a really simple trick. Easy to get snagged. Sometimes what you want to do is pretty much just cast and reel. You can just cast you can just cast it out there like way over these buoys, and even sometimes like you can hit the buoys and it doesn't really do. I mean, it doesn't really do a lot of like anything bad. What you're doing is just creating a lot of like vibrations and hoping for a reaction strike. And so I'm just casting my regular medium broad with a paddle tail swim bait on it. I just I I picked the color pink just because it's been very productive and it produces a lot of bites. I've I've caught a lot of fish, with my pink lures before, so that is like the best one that I prefer to use here in Vietnam. And yeah, well, we're just slowly trolling around these oyster farms, and hopefully we'll get a fish. You know, um, there isn't really anything specifically that you should be doing here, except you wanna set the drag as tight as possible. And I've learned this from mistakes by not doing so. Actually, someone taught me, how to fish here and the way of like how to be able to like land a fish. And I can guarantee you that, if you don't set the drag tight, right? And if you have loose drag, the moment the fish take your bait, it will literally dive right into this oyster um, housings underneath the water where there's ropes, and there are a lot of barnacles on it that would completely destroy your line right away. So there's only one way to go. You set the hook, you set the drag as tight as possible, and you just reel it in. Like just try to reel the fish out of like all these structures as quick as possible. Right now we're just casting around trying to see if there's any like barramundis or groupers or jacks or snapper hanging around. Usually there are a lot of them right underneath these buoys. So it's been roughly about like 3 hours, guys, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting a little tired here. I do apologize for the weird, traditional Vietnamese opera sound going on in the background, but I mean, you know, it's some people are just playing the music on the boat, enjoying their life. I mean, it's at this point, it's roughly about like 9:30 or 10 a.m. in the morning. We've gotten a few bites, but just couldn't really land anything yet. And so we came up with this idea of like just being a little shallower and just hitting these snacks. It's usually this fish would be hanging around right underneath these trees, waiting for bait fish to come in, and that's how we usually get them. But obviously, you guys haven't seen a lot of like fish yet because I haven't caught any. Man, after like 5 hours of fishing, we are exhausted, and I'm just a little, man. I don't know what to say. I'm a little kind of discouraged at this point, just because we couldn't land any fish. I had a few bites, so we decided just to check out these oyster farms and talk to the locals and see how they are doing. Um, Now, if you guys know, this is actually during quarantine period. I mean, this is roughly the end of April in Vietnam, and they just recently lifted the movement control order, but a lot of people are still out of commissions. They don't really have a job or anything, so it's like I thought about like me just being fortunate and lucky enough, to be financially stable and out here just enjoying my day fishing while everybody is still struggling and just trying their best to work and live their life, right? So we decided just to stop by and feel like local farmers and support them just by buying a bunch of like oysters. Man, I love oysters. We actually found a group of people that are harvesting oysters right now, and we actually just take a look at the oysters, and they're actually very big. I can guarantee you that these oyster will give the one in the U.S. a run for their money. I mean, if you really think about it, like four of these oyster is almost like 2.2 pounds. Like that's how big they are, and they are very fresh. They are very rich and creamy. Like it's, I mean, it has one of the best like tastes that I ever tasted on the water, just fresh off the water. Um, so I do actually recommend, if you guys ever come to Vietnam and happen to be, you know, boat riding next to any of these oyster farms, just contact the locals and see if you can like buy a bunch of them. We actually got like we got 29 oysters in total of like it's roughly about like 11 kilos. And so just think about it, 11 kilograms of oysters. Now obviously, like the shells and everything weighs a lot, but yeah, these are really good oysters, guys. And this is the end of this part. So I hope you guys will enjoy this trip. Hopefully, I'll catch some fish for you guys to see, you know, in the next episode. Thank you.